Should Beatrice and Eugenie become full-time royals to shake up firm? Have your say. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie joined the rest of the royal family for their annual pre-Christmas lunch, and now we want to know if they should join the band of full-time working royals. King Charles' slimmed-down monarchy has become almost threadbare in recent years, with far fewer working royals carrying out engagements at home and abroad. And two names that are often thrown into the ring for helping to take the strain by becoming full-time working members of the family are Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Despite their princess and HRH titles, the sisters have their own careers and are not among the members of the firm routinely carrying out duties on the king's behalf. The two women have had a tough time of late, as their father, the former Prince Andrew, has had his titles stripped after more revelations about his association with the pedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. But despite him and their mum Sarah Ferguson no longer having royal titles, things remain unchanged for their daughters. And yesterday, in a huge show of support, the princesses were seen beaming as they arrived at Buckingham Palace for the royal family's annual pre-Christmas lunch. They were spotted smiling as they entered the palace gates, with Eugenie wearing festive candy cane-shaped earrings. Meanwhile, in stark contrast, disgraced Andrew had to contend with a lonely horse ride around a rain-soaked Windsor while his family met for the festivities. If you can't see the poll below, click here. With nearly all bar two of the working royals over 60, Beatrice and Eugenie could inject a splash of youth into the group. Royal expert and biographer Ingrid Seward previously said, "When William ascends the throne, Beatrice and Eugenie will be valuable assets, and I am certain they will get involved with royal duties. It makes perfect sense, because he will need them. I see them as a sort of double act, working together in the same way as married couples do." Two gorgeous princesses working together as sisters would be very powerful. However, fellow royal expert Jenny Bond is not so sure. She previously said, "Beatrice and Eugenie are the obvious choices if the royal family suddenly finds itself so slimmed down that there simply aren't enough of them to go round. If they became full-time working royals, they would have to be supported from the sovereign's grant, and this is probably not the time for any more public expenditure on the royal family. There's much to admire about these two young women, but on balance, I think it is better that they do not become full-time working royals, but rather use their platforms in the way they are already doing." Prince Harry spotted showing off his polo skills during lively match in Aspen. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, wore a vibrant blue pullover, a black helmet, white trousers, and black sunglasses as he rode on the back of a brown horse in Aspen, Colorado. Prince Harry was snapped showing off his polo skills during a fierce match in snowy Aspen, Colorado. The Duke of Sussex, who sported a blue pullover, a black helmet, white trousers, and black sunglasses as he rode on the back of a brown horse, is in the famous Colorado mountain town for the World Snow Polo Championships. The 41-year-old is said to face his longtime friend, Nacho Figueras. Harry's team, primed to play at the competitive championships at Rio Grande Park, includes polo stars Grant Gazzi and Nick Roldan. The Duke, though, will go head-to-head with his old pal and Argentina polo player Nacho, who is understood to have been friends with Harry since 2007. Nacho, 48, has become one of Harry and Meghan Markle's most vocal supporters, praising them in magazine interviews and during TV appearances. Nacho, dubbed the David Beckham of polo, has played the sport alongside the prince in various matches over the years. Meghan, though, has not traveled to Colorado with her husband Ossett, as thought she is at home with the children. She has faced a difficult week, having been branded Villain of the Year by a wealthy business owner in Los Angeles. She too is close with Nacho, a model, who has appeared in the Harry-Meghan docuseries, in which he told how the prince confided in him after sharing a first date with Meghan. He described how he and his wife, Delphina Blackyer, went for dinner with Harry shortly after the prince met his future wife in 2017. But they maintain a friendly rivalry in polo as, last year, Harry sealed a win against the pro player during a charity polo match in Miami, Florida. He stormed to victory in the Celebrity Pro-Am polo game to benefit Centabale, the charity the prince founded in 2006. Harry resigned as patron of Centabale in March after the new chair, Dr. Sophie Chandauka, made a series of incendiary allegations about his behavior. The prince was presented with a trophy at the end of the matchup, which ended 3-1, before he received a passionate kiss from Meghan in front of waiting photographers. In 2022, Harry won a charity tournament in Colorado after scoring an impressive 5 goals. The Duke's team won the Centabale ISPS Handa Polo Cup in Aspen. Harry joined his friend and teammate Nacho for the tournament, which saw Centabale take on multiple other teams. In September 2019, Nacho, who witnessed the early days of Harry and Meghan's romance and was later a guest at their wedding, appeared on Ellen DeGeneres' show to announce that he would defend his friends with his life. He also described Meghan as incredible and praised the former actress for giving up everything for the man she loves in the Sue Sexes Netflix documentary. Prince Harry hits polo field as Meghan stays at home and shares surprise reaction. Prince Harry has traveled to Aspen where he took part in a special polo match in the snow, prompting Meghan Markle, who stayed at home, to post her thoughts on Instagram. Prince Harry hit the polo field on a solo trip to snowy Aspen, while Meghan Markle stayed at home and shared her surprise reaction. The Duke of Sussex traveled to the mountain town in Colorado along with pals, including the David Beckham of polo Nacho Figueras, where he took the field on a horse in the St. Regis World Snow Polo Championship. It is believed that Harry was competing as he was standing in for a friend and sported a blue pullover, a black helmet, white trousers, and black sunglasses. Ash rode on the back of a brown horse. Meghan stayed at home in California with their children Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet as they prepare for Christmas. But the Duchess had clearly been following along with her husband's progress by posting a snap of him in action on Instagram with the caption, "Oh, hello there." King Charles showed true colors with two-word complaint before meeting Claudia Winkleman. Claudia Winkleman, known for her role on BBC series The Traitors, and fellow Strictly Come Dancing star Tess Daly were recognized in the King's birthday honors list this year. King Charles reportedly let out a groan ahead of Claudia Winkleman's MBE ceremony, after receiving a warning that a sort of relative was waiting to meet him. Earlier this year, Claudia, famed for presenting The Traitors and Strictly Come Dancing, was honored alongside Strictly co-host Tess Daly in the King's birthday honors list. The recognition reached its pinnacle last week, December 9, during an investiture ceremony at Windsor Castle, where the monarch made Claudia a member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, for her services to broadcasting. Following the event, Claudia shared her delight on Instagram, describing it as an enormous honor. She said, "An incredible morning and an enormous honor. I am speechless." Meanwhile, Charles received a heads-up ahead of the ceremony, according to the Mail's Ephraim Hardcastle, who claimed he let out a groan after discovering a sort of relative was on the list. However, he went on to suggest that the king appeared to change his tune once he discovered it was Claudia, and was in a much improved mood, with Ephraim hinting that it may have been because he's a fan. He wrote, "The king, receiving a briefing before last week's investiture ceremony, was warned a sort of relative was on the list." A mole whispers that it prompted a groan from His Majesty, who muttered, "Another one." Perhaps he was recalling Danny Dyer, who, after discovering remote royal ancestry on a TV show, claimed kinship, telling Charles at a reception, "Just wanted to let you know we're related, as well. King Edward III is my grandfather, but I won't go into it." When the king found out it was Claudia Winkleman, half-sister of Lady Frederick Windsor, aka actress Sophie Winkleman, turning up to receive her MBE, the monarch, a Strictly fan, was in a much improved mood. He's likely referring to a 2019 incident when EastEnders and Mean Machine star Danny quipped to the then Prince Charles that he was enjoying a family reunion upon meeting the now monarch at the Prince's Trust Awards. His royal connection emerged when he appeared on the BBC genealogy program Who Do You Think You Are in 2016. Charles responded by saying he had discovered a long-lost relation with Daniel Dyer. In a subsequent remark about their reported family ties, the king mentioned that he would be undertaking some research into the matter, reports the BBC, which noted that Danny also learned on the show that he was related to Thomas Cromwell and William the Conqueror. Lady Frederick Windsor, meanwhile, will be recognizable to comedy enthusiasts, having appeared in the David Mitchell and Robert Webb-fronted sitcom Peep Show, and the U.S. series 2.5 Men. In a shock turn of events, Claudia and Tess recently left Strictly fans stunned when they announced they would be leaving the BBC dance competition at the conclusion of the current 2025 season. In a joint statement, the hosts expressed, "We have loved working as a duo and hosting Strictly has been an absolute dream. We were always going to leave together and now feels like the right time." King Charles' nephew gains royal title and makes big decision after Sophie's warning. James, Earl of Wessex, the son of Prince Edward and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, had to make a key decision about his life after turning 18 yesterday. King Charles' nephew has made a huge decision about his life as a member of the royal family after recently coming of age, it has been claimed. James, Earl of Wessex, the son of Charles' youngest brother, Prince Edward, and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, turned 18 yesterday, December 17, a landmark age that came with a key decision to make about his future. Having now reached the age of 18, James is entitled to adopt the royal titles of His Royal Highness, HRH, and Prince. Senior royals typically have the letters HRH included in their titles, but they don't always decide to use them. It seems that James intends to take after his mother and won't be following the example of his cousins, according to the Mail's Richard Eden. Richard wrote, Prince Edward and Sophie's son, James, turned 18 yesterday, but he won't be celebrating by following the example of his cousins across the Atlantic. He continued, James, who has been the Earl of Wessex since his father became the Duke of Edinburgh, knows the legal right to be known as His Royal Highness and also Prince. However, while Harry and Meghan insisted their children be known as Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, James will not, I am told, biasing his titles. It may not be surprising to royal watchers, however, as Sophie has commented on the subject previously. She disclosed that her and Edward's two children, James and Lady Louise Windsor, were likely to have to work for a living. Sophie said, "We try to bring them up with the understanding they are very likely to have to work for a living. Hence we made the decision not to use HRH titles. They have them and can decide to use them from 18, but I think it's highly unlikely." In further comments about her children's upbringing, Sophie noted that they attended a regular school and, in a bid to provide them with normal lives, they'd enjoyed sleepovers and lots of dog walking, reports Metro. James and Louise's cousin, Prince Harry, and his wife, Meghan Markle, agreed to stop using the HRH title when they stepped away from life as senior royals and moved to Montecito, California, in 2020. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is another member of the royal family who no longer uses his titles, including HRH, Duke of York and Prince, following intense media scrutiny over his links to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew has consistently denied the allegations leveled against him. Yet another example of a prominent royal figure not using the HRH title is Zara Tindall, the daughter of Princess Anne, but this is due to tradition, as only male royals in the line of succession can reportedly pass the title on, according to a 1917 declaration by King George v. The grandchildren of the sons of any such sovereign in the direct male line, save only the eldest living son of the eldest son of the Prince of Wales, shall have and enjoy on all occasions the style and title enjoyed by the children of dukes of these our realms. King Charles helps bring small slice of Scotland to other side of the world. Tanisha Higgins spent 6 weeks in Scotland last year in a culinary course at Dumfries House run by the King's Foundation, and now she's serving up Scottish staples at her cafe in her hometown in Jamaica. A small slice of Scotland is being served up over 4,000 miles away in Jamaica, and that's all thanks to the King. Tanisha Higgins spent 6 weeks in Ayrshire last year taking part in a culinary course run by the King's Foundation, where she learned cooking and kitchen skills at Dumfries House. And now she has taken her skills back to the Caribbean and is serving up potato scones and other Scottish staples at her cafe in downtown Kingston. As a regular cook for the Rosetown Foundation, a charity in her hometown of Kingston, which works alongside the King's Foundation. Tanisha was one of the students to recently graduate from the program. She was sponsored by the organization to benefit from the course in Scotland, where she soaked up new knowledge and skills. The 43-year-old was introduced to new foods in a different climate, learned where certain food comes from, and was taught cutting and chopping techniques. After returning home, mum of 4 Tanisha opened her own restaurant to showcase her new skills and some Scottish cuisine. From a plate loaded with potato scones, tomato, bacon, egg, sausage and beans, locals can sample something a little different. Tanisha said, "I practiced the potato scones at home a lot, and my daughter loves those," she added. "I had so much fun learning at Dumfries House. We gardened and learned about different types of soil for growing food. I was fascinated with purple broccoli, which I'd never seen before, yellow raspberries and different types of apples. The whole experience was amazing. I came back to Jamaica with lots of information to teach others here, including knife and barista skills." Since introducing her new dishes, Tanisha has returned to Scotland to officially graduate from the culinary course at Dumfries House. During the recent visit, a highlight for her was meeting the King, who has long championed the UK's hospitality industry. The Introduction to Hospitality course at Dumfries House was said to have been inspired by his vision and trained students in back-of-house skills and front-of-house service. Tanisha said, "It was a delightful feeling to meet the King. I feel privileged to have been in the same space as him and to greet him. We had some small talk, it was fantastic." Earlier this year, the foundation revealed it has to date trained more than 115,000 students in traditional crafts and environmental education over its 35 years. The charity offers education courses for almost 15,000 students annually, health and well-being programs for nearly 2,000 people every year, and spearheads placemaking and regeneration projects in the UK and overseas to revitalize communities and historic buildings. The King's Foundation is headquartered at its flagship regeneration project, Dumfries House in Ayrshire, Scotland, and acts as custodian of other historic royal sites including the Castle of May in Caithness, Scotland, and Highgrove Gardens in Gloucestershire. The foundation also carries out its work at educational and cultural hubs in London, based at the King's Foundation School for Traditional Arts in Shoreditch, Trinity Buoy Wharf on the River Thames and The Garrison Chapel in Chelsea. Kate Middleton and Prince William reveal brand new family photo for 2025 Christmas card. The Prince and Princess of Wales have shared the charming snap that they've chosen to feature on the front of their Christmas card this year, showing them with their 3 children. The Prince and Princess of Wales have revealed the brand new family photo that graces the front of their 2025 Christmas card. The never-before-seen image, released on Kensington Palace's social media, shows Prince William and Kate sitting on the grass amid spring daffodils with their children Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. Charlotte is resting her head on her father's shoulder and holding onto his arm. Relaxed Louis is leaning back sitting between William's legs, and Kate has her arm around George. The post reads, "Wishing everyone a very happy Christmas." It was taken by photographer Josh Shinner in Norfolk in April. George and Louis wear the same outfits in the snap for the portraits that were released of them in April and then July, suggesting the family picture came from the same photo shoot. It is a royal family tradition for members of the firm to release a Christmas card with a personal snap on the front, and this year's comes after a long line of charming family photos William and Kate have released over the years. Last year's photo showed the Wales family with their arms around each other and smiling. It was taken from the video released by Kate in last September, which confirmed she would return to public duties following the completion of her course of chemotherapy after her cancer diagnosis last year. In 2023, the Wales's Christmas card photo showed all 5 of the family members posing in a formal shot dressed in matching white shirts and dark denim jeans. It was marked difference from the snap shared for 2022, which showed the couple dressed down holding hands with their children on a walk in Norfolk. In 2021, the card featured a photo of the family relaxing on a private holiday in Jordan. The location of that year's snap was especially poignant for Kate. She spent a small part of her childhood years in Jordan, where her dad Mike worked for British Airways. Meanwhile, the Wales 2020 Christmas card showed them all huddled together in casual clothes at Anmer Hall, their country home close to the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. The release of the card comes as the Wales family returned to an annual royal family Christmas tradition yesterday after skipping it with their children last year. William and Kate were seen driving with Prince George, 12, Princess Charlotte, 10, and 7-year-old Prince Louis into the gates of Buckingham Palace for the firm's annual pre-Christmas lunch for extended family. The festive party is held for all members of the royal family and usually takes place around a week before Christmas, with around 70 of the king's relatives invited to the bash. It offers the family a chance to catch up, as not all of them will be joining the festivities at Sandringham, including the walk to church and Christmas dinner on December 25 itself. Last year, with Kate still recovering from her cancer treatment, the Wales family skipped the event as they had headed to Norfolk to spend the Christmas holidays at Anmer Hall. However, this year they were seen entering and leaving the palace for the get-together, with Kate looking festive in a bright red dress, with a black bow in her hair and 6,300 pounds Van Cleef earrings. Charlotte was also seen matching her mum with a BOW in her hair, teamed with a burgundy outfit. Earlier this month, Kate officially kicked off the countdown to Christmas with her annual carol concert, where her children got into the festive spirit of togetherness when they left their names on a symbolic tree. George, Charlotte and Louis joined their parents at Kate's annual Together at Christmas carol service at Westminster Abbey last week and enjoyed an evening of seasonal songs. As they arrived, the smartly dressed trio hung loops of red paper bearing their handwritten names on a connection tree. It represents togetherness and the importance of moments of connection, and was covered with paper chains created as each guest left a loop with their name. Kate arrived at the Abbey without her family and before the service began to meet some of the stars performing or giving readings, including Hollywood actors Kate Winslet, Chiwetel Ejiofor and singer Katie Melua. She told Dan Smith, lead singer with Bastille, that her children had been looking forward to the service. They're really excited, it's become such a tradition. Meanwhile, the King and Queen chose their 20th wedding anniversary portrait for their official Christmas card this year. Charles and Camilla are pictured standing side by side, with the Queen's arm linking the King's in the grounds of Villa Walkinsky, the British ambassador's residence in Rome, earlier this year. The photograph is framed inside the card by a dark red border, with the printed message in a matching color on the opposite side reading, "Wishing you a very happy Christmas and New Year." The couple reached their milestone 20 years of marriage on April 9, 2025 while out of the country and on royal duty during their state visit to Italy, and spent the evening of their anniversary as guests of honor at a grand banquet. Exclusive. Epstein and Andrew orgy claim with Virginia Giuffre deepens after new WhatsApp text. Virginia Giuffre previously described how Jeffrey Epstein ordered her and other girls to gather at a cabana beside the main house's pool, where they were met by the then Prince Andrew and Epstein. Virginia Giuffre's claims that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor took part in an 8-girl orgy deepened tonight after texts emerged discussing the price of Russian girls for Jeffrey Epstein. The latest material, released by Democrats on the U.S. House Oversight Committee, includes screenshots of messages from an unidentified sender referring to 18-year-old from Russia, and a request for $1,000 per girl. Redacted personal details list a young woman's name, age, measurements, weight and departure city, with Russia given as the country of origin. One message reads, "Maybe someone will be good for Jay?" The J is understood to be short for Jeffrey. Giuffre, who died earlier this year by suicide, had testified under oath that Epstein organized a sex party involving the former Duke of York, herself, and 7 girls flown in from Eastern Europe. She alleged the encounter took place on Epstein's private Caribbean island, Littlest James. In her posthumous memoir, Nobody's Girl, published in October, she wrote, "Epstein, Andy, and approximately 8 other young girls and I had sex together." She added, "The other girls all appeared to be under the age of 18 and didn't really speak English." Epstein laughed about how they couldn't really communicate, saying they are the easiest girls to get along with. Giuffre previously described how Epstein ordered her and the other girls to gather at a cabana beside the main house's pool, where they were met by the then Prince and Epstein, seated nearby. She claimed she was instructed by her master to perform with 7 young Russian girls who had been flown in specifically for the occasion. Jeffrey directed us with hand gestures to start undressing, and then we were instructed to start kissing and touching and toss dildos on each other, she said. Jeffrey and the prince were laughing, and then they stripped and he performed a sex act on Andrew. There was a dinner the next day and then Andrew was gone. Mountbatten Windsor, who was stripped of his royal titles due to his association with Epstein, has vehemently denied her allegations. The latest 68 images released by the committee also include a photograph of a Ukrainian girl's passport. Victims of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have long alleged that their passports were seized to prevent them from escaping. The publication comes on the eve of the deadline for the Trump administration to release the government's long-awaited Epstein files. Congressman Robert Garcia, the committee's ranking Democrat, said the latest tranche raises more questions about what material the U.S. Department of Justice continues to withhold. As we approach the deadline for the Epstein Files Transparency Act, these new images raise more questions about what exactly the Department of Justice has in its possession, he said. We must end this White House cover-up, and the DOJ must release the Epstein files now. Among the newly released documents is a photograph showing a line from Lolita inked on the arch of a woman's foot. Epstein is known to have kept a first-edition copy of the novel in his New York residence. Another image shows magician David Blaine with Epstein and Woody Allen, although there's no suggestion of wrongdoing by either of them. Other pictures show Bill Gates with an unidentified woman, her face obscured, and Epstein seated beside the linguist Noam Chomsky aboard a plane. Gates has previously said his meetings with Epstein were related to philanthropic discussions and described the association as a huge mistake. Chomsky told the Wall Street Journal in 2023 that the relationship was none of your business, adding that at the time Epstein had served his sentence, and, under U.S. norms, that yields a clean slate. The latest disclosures coincide with a dramatic intervention from Ghislaine Maxwell. The convicted trafficker has asked a federal court in New York to set aside her 2021 conviction and 20-year sentence, claiming Ina Hand submitted filing that substantial new evidence has emerged indicating constitutional violations that undermined the fairness of her proceedings. She alleges that exculpatory information was withheld, false testimony presented, and material facts misrepresented to the jury and the court. Her conviction was upheld on appeal, and the Supreme Court declined to review the case in October. Maxwell, initially held at a federal facility in Tallahassee, was transferred this summer to a minimum security camp in Bryan, Texas, shortly after meeting Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche to discuss matters related to the Epstein case.